Have we made RVs way too complicated? Do we have too much tech in our RVs? Between Bluetooth, touch panels, touch screens, wireless internet, Wi-Fi. Have we just made them so complicated, too much tech, that they're unreliable? We got 15 systems that can fail on a modern RV before we ever leave the driveway that might prohibit us from going camping. That seems like a little crazy. My 1960s era RV pole travel trailer that I had, it didn't have hardly any tech at all. It had 12-volt battery, ran a few lights. It had two 15-amp 120-volt circuits, ran some outlets, some lights, and the furnace. And it worked. It worked fine. I had it for 6-7 years. In fact, I bought it for the grandkids to play house in and spend the night. And you know what? I didn't have any problems with it. When I got ready to sell it 7 years later, guess what? I hit it with a power washer, did a good deep cleaning, put some white stuff on the roof, and sold it. No big deal. No maintenance at all. None. It almost seems like our RVs have more tech than our house. And that might be contributing to the perception that RVs are made of poor quality and are just junk. The real question is, have we made RV living better? Or have we just made it more complicated? Do our comfort features, do they take away from reliability? Do they really take the stress out of camping? My 1960s RV that I had, it didn't even have a manual. It was so basic, simple. I mean, you flipped the switch, light came on. That was it. No Bluetooth on your phone, no touch panels to turn lights on and off, the old-fashioned switch. You know what? It always worked. Never broke down, never questioned it. The water system. The water system on the one that I had a tank sitting underneath the bed, had a pump. It only had cold water, no hot water. Now, you know, hot water's pretty nice, but you know what? I never had a problem with it. It always pumped water, and it worked. Now today, I got a filter system on my RV. I got city water. I got water from my tank, holding tank. Again, a little more complexity, a few more things can go wrong. And I can control the pump from my phone, Bluetooth. And let's be real simple about this. If something broke on my old 1960s era travel trailer, you know what I did? I went down to Home Depot and I bought a light switch, or I bought an outlet, because they were made out of household switches and plugs. Very easy to fix. Same with the light fixtures. And if it broke, you just fixed it. And most of the stuff you could fix right on the campsite, because there were no circuit boards. There was no Bluetooth connectivity. There was no internet required for anything to work. It was really basic stuff. And if something didn't work, you just fixed it. You carried a couple light bulbs with you, you got lights. You carried an extra switch, turn lights on and off, or you carry out an extra outlet if you need them. But I never had any problems. You know, when I think about it, the RV that I used in my 1960s, it wasn't a smart RV, but it was very dependable. So now we got, on my modern RV, I have lights controlled by my phone, lights controlled by a control panel. I have slides that are controlled by a control panel. My slide is controlled or by my phone. And you know what? I have the Schwintek slide system. Now, I haven't had any problems with it, but you go out there on the internet and you see lots of people complaining about the Schwintek slides. Now, I do think a little bit of maintenance makes those last a little longer and a little more reliable, but traditionally, people complain about the Schwintek slide system. No slide outs on my old one. Tank levels. There was no tank meter on my 1960s era RV. It was just a water holding tank. That's it. And you just looked at it and you see how much water was in it. If I needed to add water, I unscrewed the top, poured some water, and screwed it back on. It had a pump. It pumped cold water, cold pumped cold water to my kitchen sink and to my bathroom sink, and I had a shower. Now, you got to take a cold shower. Didn't quite understand that. But maybe that's just the way they did it back in the 60s. Maybe they expected you to use the bathhouse. I don't know. And it had no gray tanks, no black tanks. It did have a sewer pipe, but the sewer pipe ran directly out into the sewer, into your sewer cleanout. And if you didn't do it that way, you had a mess, because whatever went in the kitchen sink went right out the tube. And the same with the toilet and the shower. There were no holding tanks. It went straight into the cleanout. And since there were no tanks, there were no levels to measure. And you know what? I never looked at it and go, oh crap, I've only been here one day and my black tank's 3/4 full. You know what? I didn't have a black tank, didn't have to worry about it, and didn't have to worry about the tank levels. You know why? I didn't have any levels to measure. And I'm not sure that controlling all these things from your phone is necessarily the answer. I've really never had a problem connecting with my Bluetooth to my Grand Design RV, but I still had that little bit of hesitancy. If it's not going to work, how much of a problem will that be? But again, cross my fingers, haven't had any problems yet. Now, the power system on the 1960s, it plugged into shore power. It had two 15-amp circuits. It had a battery that ran a few of the lights, and I had a furnace. The furnace didn't work. I didn't care. I never did. I didn't care that it didn't work. It did not have an air conditioner to begin with. I put in a little window unit, put it on a switch. You know what? It did just fine for the grandkids. They had a blast, kept them cool. Now in today's system, we have 110 volt or 120 volt shore power. We have a 12 volt battery system. But then we got to make that battery system just a little bit better. We got to put in lithium batteries. And then we got to put it in inverter. And then we got to put on solar panels. And then we're going to connect everything together, and we got to look at everything on our Bluetooth. Or we got to look at a control panel to see how it's working. You know what? Those comfort features, I'm not sure are worth it or worth the hassle. You have more things to go wrong. You have more points of failure. And the weakest link in the chain always breaks. No matter what it is, if I lose my 12 volt power, I'm kind of screwed, And back in my old 1960s, it didn't make any difference. If I didn't have power, you know what? I just hooked everything up and drove down the road and went home. Or I just hung out, didn't have power. It was no big deal. But you can't live without power on the new ones. That's a fact. You can't get slide in or out. Water pump won't work, which slide won't go in or out. TV won't work. Microwave won't work. Furnace won't work. Lots of problems. And let's be a little bit. Let's go back to the old school time. When we went camping to be outdoors. We didn't go camping to get there in time to watch the Saturday afternoon football game for your favorite football team, or your Sunday for the NFL team, or baseball. We didn't care about TVs back in the 60s. We went camping to be outdoors. We went out to go fishing, swimming, hiking, and having a good time outdoors. We didn't have tankless water heaters. I didn't even have a water heater on that one. I didn't have to worry about that breaking down. If I wanted to take a hot shower, I'd go to the bathhouse. And you know what? Some of these rigs even have heated floors in them now. Guess what? Another point of failure, or inconvenience, or frustration. In 1960s, everything was mechanical. There were no circuit boards. There were no sensors. There were no wiring harnesses. It was really basic, simple. It was as basic as it could be. And it didn't break. I had that thing 7 years. The only thing I did was coat the roof with a white coat of paint and power wash the outside of it when I went to sell it. There was just no maintenance to do on it because it was rock solid. It was sturdy. It was simple. It was mechanical. It wasn't electronics. It wasn't circuit boards. It wasn't wireless. It wasn't Bluetooth. And today, if something breaks, I've got to get on YouTube, or I got to go to the dealer And you know what? You go to the dealer, they have it for 4 or 5 weeks. In my case, they had it almost 4 months to get something fixed that shouldn't have been broken. But my old one, my 1960s, it never broke. Never had to worry about it. Never had to take it anywhere to get it fixed because it was reliable. Now, some of the other things. Number one, it had a 4-pin connector, so I did not have brakes on this travel trailer. Now, that's kind of a safety issue. I'm not sure that's a good thing, but you know what? Didn't have to worry about it. No backup camera, no tire pressure monitoring system. They weren't available back then. So again, the tire pressure monitoring system, a little bit of a safety issue. The 4-pin connector without brakes, that's a little bit of a safety issue. But back in the 60s, we didn't think anything about it. People hooked my little trailer that I had up to their car and drove it to the lake. Didn't think anything about it. Today, you wouldn't. I would not hook that up to a car and pull it to a lake. It won't handle it. We didn't think anything, and it didn't have. My 60s didn't have brakes on it. And you know what? People did it all the time. Now, the build qualities. I'm going to tell you something. That 1960s era trailer, it was rock solid. But it had heavier building materials, solidly built construction, probably overbuilt by most standards, because that's the only way they did things back then. And it was simple but tough. Today, we got aluminum siding, we got aluminum studs, we design it to be lightweight for fuel efficiency, or we can make it bigger and weigh less. The older, that RV felt like a tank. It really did. When you hit the side of it, it didn't move. Today, even though I have the Asdale siding and the one-piece sides, it's solid, but not as solid as my 1960s one was. My 60s was built tough, Ford tough, if you believe in Fords. I'm not a big fan of Fords, but that's beside the point. The bottom line is the old school campers from the 60s, they gave you freedom. They gave you reliability. You know, when you hooked that thing up and you got out the lake, you know what you were getting into, you know what you had, and you didn't have any second thoughts about it. Today, I hook up my RV and pull it to the lake. There's a whole list of things I need to worry about. Is my tongue hitch going to work? Are my stabilizers going to work? Is my slide going to work? Is my Bluetooth going to work? Is my inverter going to work? Are my lithium batteries going to stay charged? And my solar system going to work? Is my 12-volt battery, my 12-volt refrigerator going to work? I didn't even have a refrigerator in the old one. It was just an ice box. Put some ice in it, put food and stuff in it, and closed it up. That's the way it was. Now, the modern RVs, I will say there's lots of comfort features. They're very nice. Air conditioning works. TV works, internet works, I got Skylink. There's all sorts of things that we have comfort through technology. And I will say, my RV that I have, my Grand Design, is a lot more comfortable to go camping in than my old one was. But my old one was reliable. So the modern RVs, we gain comfort, but we lose simplicity. We make them extremely more complicated. Shoot, even the thermostat on my Grand Design, my wife has a hard time working it because it's not the same as the one in the house. Makes no sense to me at all. Why don't they make them the same? Somewhere along the line, we lost reliability. Exactly where that happened, when we had too many comfort features built into these things, I don't know. But I know that they're just complicated. And when it works, it's great. I'm telling you what, it is really nice to have an RV that has everything working on it. But how many times have you gone out and something not work? Something very simple not work on your RV? It just seems to be the name of the game. That something's not going to work as you expect it to work. And you got to figure out a way to fix it on the new ones. I've had both. 1960s RV travel trailer and 2022. Huge difference in size, quality, and comfort features. But which one would you really like better? Does it really make that much difference? Would you want to take a 1960s travel trailer that you could fix by yourself? Or do you want the complexity of them and all the comfort features of a modern RV today? Drop it in the comments. Tell me if you want reliability or comfort features with complexity. I want to hear from you. I think that'll wrap it up. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. Put it in the comments if what you think. Have we made them too complicated, or do you like the old school way? And until we meet around the campfire, y'all take care now. Bye-bye.